Tonight on Global Television's News Prime, federal government says it is reviewing intellectual property to boost innovation. The Business World Bank says Nigeria must sustain 15 years of reforms to ensure economic impact. And in sports, Confederation of African Football begins investigation into Super Eagles ordeal at Libyan airport. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the globe to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwebe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. Tonight, let's begin by telling you a two-story building has collapsed on Musu Street in Orile Igomo area of Lagos State in an incident that happened in the early hours of today. The building caved in as residents nearby scampered for safety. Head of Public Affairs Units of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Nosa Okumbo, has confirmed that there was no casualty in the building collapse. Over the years, millions of Nigerian children have been denied access to basic education. Despite attempts to take more children off the streets to the classrooms, hundreds of school-aged children, especially girls, are still roaming the streets. From Kano, Global Television's correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at girl-child education in a state where basic education is supposed to be free.
15-year-old Khadija Ahmed is working to support her family. Like her mother, she dropped out of school due to lack of fund, effectively ending her dream of becoming a doctor. I started going to school, but unfortunately, I have to drop out in order to support my family. This is happening in a state where basic education is supposed to be free and compulsory. Experts say lack of access caused by poor government spending, shortage of political will, and poverty are partly responsible. But there is even more bigger problem.
Majority of our girls have problem of access, most especially in the rural area and hard to reach. You can say which we are calling always is this issue of closure of all boarding schools by the last administration of Kano State, which may be due to insecurity as they said, but it has largely affected access.
In the midst of these disturbing challenges, there seems to be a pocket of success stories in Kano State.
As far as Kano State is concerned, there is change and increase in enrollment for the girl child. The concern is completion and mainstreaming.
This is one of the basic schools in Kano State. The facilities here are very good by the state standard. A place where children like Khadija who want to start building their dream can actually learn something better. But the reality in many parts of Kano is this. Girls from rural areas storm the city to work on daily basis. For them, it's a way of life. Khadija still hopes to become a doctor one day. But unless authorities remain committed to providing quality education, the future of Nigeria's education sector may likely continue to remain bleak. And Khadija's dream will remain what it is, just a dream, nothing more. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Global Television News.
Thank you, Jibrin Idris, for that brilliant reporting from Kano State right there. Vice President Kashif Shettima has called for a return to traditional family values as a solution to the country's social and economic challenges. Speaking at the Muslim Family Summit in Abuja, Shettima was said to have emphasized the urgent need to reinforce traditional family structures as a grassroots approach to addressing Nigeria's present issues. The federal government says it is reviewing the country's intellectual property policy due to the need to empower creating, protecting the country's cultural heritage and driving innovation across the board. Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, made this known in Abuja during an engagement with stakeholders alongside Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite. Intellectual property, popularly referred to as IP, is a category of property that includes intangible creations of the human intellect. There are many types of intellectual property, and some countries recognize more than others. The best-known types are patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, has declared that the agency is not in charge of the number of staff to be promoted in the agency. Adeyeye disclosed these while reacting to the ongoing indefinite strike embarked on by Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and government-owned companies, and affiliates of the Trade Union Congress TUC, representing employees of NAFDAC due to unresolved promotion controversies and welfare concerns. The aggrieved workers expressed that their grievances had not been addressed, prompting this drastic action. Barely 1 month to the governorship election in Ondo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has begun a 3-day training session for some security personnel for the off-cycle poll. The trainees include the men of the State Police Command, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Immigration Customs Service. Speaking at the opening of the training in Akure, Ondo State Capital, National Commissioner and Chairman, Board of Electoral Institute, Professor Abdullahi Zuru, says the training was necessary for the Commission to collaborate with security agencies in ensuring the safeguarding of voters and their votes. In the meantime, ahead of the governorship election in Ondo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has announced that the collection of the permanent voters' card (PVCs) by registered voters will commence on Thursday, October 17, 2024. The Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, announced this in a statement. According to the statement, a total number of 89,777 new PVCs were printed and delivered to INEC State Office in Akure. Ondo State's governorship election is scheduled for November 16, 2024. The All Progressives Congress (APC) in Bayelsa State, Yenagoa local government chapter has indefinitely suspended the former deputy governor of the state, Warin Pire Sheburugu, and 6 others for alleged anti-party activities. Sheburugu, who was the deputy to a former governor and immediate past Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Chief Timi Pire Silva, was also an acting governor and Speaker of the State House of Assembly. Although 7 members were suspended, the announcement of the suspension was delayed due to an earlier attack on members of the Sabama Local Government Executive Committee by some hired thugs. Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Stelabi Olatukombu, has denied involvement in the arrest of the All Progressives Congress youth leader for Ijebu Ode local government and a member of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Babatunde Aremu. Aremu was picked up by the operatives of the Department of State Services in Ijebu Ode on alleged accounts of planning to stage a protest over the crisis rocking the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, in the state. Makurdi, the Benue State's capital, has been flooded following a downpour that lasted more than 9 hours. The rain, which started around 3 a.m. and continued until noon, affected several areas, including Giado Villa, Wadata, Wurukum, Achusha, and parts of North Bank in Makurdi. The state government had earlier issued warnings to residents in flood-prone areas, urging them to move to designated locations within the capital city. Kogi State government has once again called on the federal government and international donor agencies to assist as floods have displaced over 200 communities. Addressing journalists at Kokotafe in Kogi local government area, the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, warned that major humanitarian crisis is brewing in the state with close to 2 million people currently homeless. He said the National Emergency Management Agency cannot afford to wait any longer as the state is already overwhelmed. Let's turn to Nigeria's southwest now, where Sokoto State's Governor, Dr. Ahmed Aliyu, has inaugurated a special committee on the sales of assorted food items to the people of the state at 55% discount rates. The governor says his government has procured food items and other essential commodities meant to be sold at a 55% discounted rate to members of the public. Speaking during the inauguration, the governor reiterated that the sales of the foodstuffs are meant for every resident of the state, irrespective of their political or ethnic differences. He said the administration has introduced various methods of palliatives to the people of the state to address the effects of subsidy removal and the global economic meltdown. The public hearing for the Endangered Species Conservation and Protection Bill 2024 has been scheduled to be held in Nigeria's House of Representatives on October 24, 2024. Championed by Tessia Ubo, the Deputy Chairman of the House Committee on Environment, the bill seeks to tackle pressing challenges such as illegal wildlife trade, conservation of species, and the decline of Nigeria's precious wildlife and their habitats. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the news returns tonight, more stories after this short break. Please stay with us for details. This is Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television, live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, with Uyi Agumofewe. Now time to talk business. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has announced the launch of a live policy tracker to monitor the implementation of economic reforms advanced by the group to the government. This announcement was made at the ongoing 30th Nigeria Economic Summit, themed Collaborative Action for Growth, Competitiveness and Stability in Abuja. While speaking at the summit, which had in attendance Vice President Kashif Shettima, ministers, important stakeholders, and other statesmen, the chairman, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Olaniyi Yusuf, stated that the group, in order to track the implementation of recommendations made in the past summits and national outcomes, launched the policy tracking system. The World Bank has stated that Nigeria must maintain its ongoing economic reforms for the next 10 to 15 years to establish itself as a leading economic power, not only in sub-Saharan Africa, but also on the global stage. These reforms, according to the World Bank, are crucial for ensuring sustainable growth and development, allow Nigeria to compete with other emerging economies across the world. Senior Vice President of the World Bank Group, Idemit Gill, gave this advice during the ongoing 30th Nigerian Economic Summit Group organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the Ministry of Budget and National Planning today in Abuja. The three-day event is themed Collaborative Action for Growth, Competitiveness and Stability. The chairman of Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, says the committee is coming up with reforms to ensure that Nigerians who are supposed to pay tax fulfill that obligation, as the tax gap stands at about 75%. He also stated that the government was working to ensure that personal income tax reduces for Nigerians earning below 1.5 million monthly after the economic stabilization bill is passed, noting that, however, the rich people earning 1.5 million naira and above will see their personal income tax rise by up to 25%. Oyedele made the disclosure while commenting as a panelist at the ongoing 30th Nigeria Economic Summit Group with the theme Fiscal and Monetary Policy Reforms, Removing Barriers to Private Sector Investment. The National Assembly says it is considering a bill proposing an increase in the value-added tax VAT from 7.5% to 10%. In the executive bill seen by some newsmen, the National Assembly intends raising the tax rate to 10% by 2025. The legislature also intends to increase the VAT to 12.5% by 2026 through 2029. That's according to the document. And now let's go foreign. Police say a man with illegal possession of a shotgun and loaded handgun was arrested at an intersection near Donald Trump's rally in Coachella, California. The 49-year-old suspect, Van Miller, was driving a black SUV when he was stopped at a security checkpoint by officers who located the two firearms and a high-capacity magazine. Riverside County Sheriff said Miller was then taken into custody without incident and was later released, and told U.S. media he was a Trump supporter who was not planning to harm the Republican presidential candidate. China has launched new military drills off the coast of Taiwan in what it described as punishment for a speech given by its president, William Lai, when he vowed to resist annexation or encroachment upon its sovereignty. China claims the self-governing island of Taiwan as its own, and its president, Xi Jinping, has vowed to retake it by force if necessary. Let's bring you some excitement now from the world of sports. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has expressed deep concern over the troubling ordeal faced by Nigeria's national football team, the Super Eagles, at the Libyan airports. The federation highlighted immediate steps to engage both Libyan and Nigerian authorities following reports that the team and their staff were left stranded under distressing conditions for several hours. The incident is now under investigation by CAF's disciplinary board. This was contained in a statement obtained from the CAF website. Ministry of Foreign Affairs has summoned the Libyan Charge d'Affaires in Nigeria following the maltreatment of the Super Eagles in Libya after their flight was unexpectedly diverted. Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga confirmed to State House correspondents that efforts were underway to refuel the plane and expedite the national football team's return to Nigeria. Ambassador Tuga noted that Nigerian authorities have been in direct communication with the Super Eagles and officials from the Nigerian mission in Libya who have been dispatched to provide support to the stranded players and officials. He noted that the situation is being treated with urgency. And now let's end the News Prime here on Global Television, but first a summary of our big stories. The federal government says it is reviewing intellectual property to boost innovation. In business, World Bank has said that Nigeria must sustain 15 years of reforms to ensure economic impact. And finally, in sport, we told you Confederation of African Football, CAF, has commenced investigation into Super Eagles' ordeal at Libyan airports. And that's it on News Prime, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, here on Global Television. We're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nigecomsat. Kindly follow Global Television across all social media platforms using Global Television and other handles as you now see on your screen. On behalf of the entire production team here at Global Television headquarters in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I am Uyi Agumofwegbe, saying a big thank you to you for watching.